In Guyana, like many other countries throughout the Commonwealth, a citizen can legally cast a ballot when he or she acquires the age of 18. In order to cast a ballot, however, that person is required to go through a process that would allow them to do so legally. The first step in that process is to be in possession of a birth certificate, which would then be used by GECOM to issue a national identification card, and also for their name to be added to the national database and the final voters list. If their name is not on the voters list, it would mean that they would not be allowed to cast a ballot and vote for a government of their choice. At the beginning of June 2021, parliamentarians assembled to debate a number of bills, among them the Birth and Death Registration Amendment Act of 2021, which was successfully passed by the governing side of the House, which constitutes the majority, while the main opposition, APNU-AFC, opposed the passage of that bill. Some of the amendments made to the Principal Act include that the parents of a child may now choose any surname they so desire for that child, according to paragraph 2 of the Amended Act, while persons desirous of changing their own name may also be able to do so, providing they follow the prescribed guidelines cited in paragraphs 3b onward. The Act also prescribes that a tushao, community or village leader, a notary public, a justice of peace, or persons along that line may, on behalf of an unregistered person, present an oath of identity, which would pave the way for that person to become registered and to acquire a Guyanese birth certificate, and subsequently a national ID card, as well as being added to the official voters list. The passage of this bill, however, has raised many eyebrows, especially those in the opposition APNU-AFC camp, as they believe that the amended bill provides loopholes for voter fraud, impersonation, and the likes. One such person who shares that view is APNU-AFC GECOM Commissioner Vincent Alexander, who spoke with Nightly News via telephone on Tuesday afternoon.
If you have what this act intends, then people will come to us with birth certificates, but in fact, they'll be coming with birth certificates acquired through the said process that we decided was not a good process for our compilation of the registered registrants.
Alexander opined that the current system in place could see non-nationals being able to cast ballots at future elections.
We found issues of duplicate registration and things like that. We found that people could easily be not Guyanese across the border and that be registered if we were merely dependent on certificates of identity.
Leading up to the 2020 elections, the APNU-AFC had maintained its call for a clean voters list through house-to-house registration. That process was eventually halted following a ruling by the Caribbean Court of Justice that the then chairman of GECOM, Justice retired James Patterson, was unlawfully appointed by the former president, David Granger. Following the March 2nd elections during the course of the national recount exercise, there were also claims by the APNU-AFC camp that there were several instances of voter impersonation, among other acts of fraud. This led to Nightly News' inquiry as to whether the amended Birth and Registration Act could lead to another debacle, such as what occurred in 2020.
Well, I wouldn't say a recurrence in the 2020 debacle. 2020 has much more to it than that. But certainly a reoccurrence of the existence of a contrived voters list.
Wendell Badrie for the HGP Nightly News.